Hey, good morning. I'm the Fort Worth Playboy.
And I'm Buddy.
And Marilyn went to the, Buddy went to the dentist yesterday and the day before.
I only had one cavity.
After how long?
I don't want to talk about it. My father traumatized me. I went to the dentist a lot as a child, and as an adult, I just didn't want to. So I'd say a cavity every quarter century or so is really good odds.
She was pregnant, and he's now getting his doctorate. So there was a spread.
That's how long it's been.
Of that.
And now I get to get my wisdom teeth out.
Yeah. So then
He says I'm wise enough.
Yeah, that's funny. That's a dentist joke. You can
That's
use
my
that.
line.
Oh, that's yours?
I said it.
That's pretty funny. I bet he's never heard that before.
I know. Well, I didn't say it to him because that seemed like a lame joke.
But she's been telling everyone, so we wanted to make sure no one didn't know she had gone to the dentist.
You guys have no idea how obnoxious I am in my real life.
I bet they get a feeling. I bet they can get an idea of it, even in 30 minutes. We are so glad you're here. And what do we talk about on this program? We talk about game, relationships, pickup, and sex.
Sex.
And our sex expert is here. Always have to say that in the morning show. What she's really strong at is like reigniting 20 and 30-year marriages, keeping them together. And she's written 5 books on sex improvement.
Yes.
That's it. You can go from 0 to 100 miles per hour, improve top end of your game.
That's right.
That's what we cover. And we are under the umbrella of the Red Pill. We think of like Rollo and Roosh and all the original gangsters.
I wonder how many people even know who Roosh is.
More than you think, because I get questions about him a lot.
That's good. Good.
And everybody knows
You wrote
Rollo.
some good stuff.
And Chateau, which is I'm basically a disciple of him. So that is who we are. And the Red Pill encompasses politics and men's rights and MGTOW and all the intersectional dynamics. And we are a little bit more specific when you come to our Twitter timeline or to our show.
Or to our web
Yes.
emails, whether
Our
in our
books.
websites.
Yeah. Very specific, more on moving a girl from a complete stranger to naked and in your bed, or all the way to improving a 20 or 30-year marriage.
Yeah.
But specific, actionable items that you can apply that day. So that's what we try to convey.
And just having fun in the process.
Yes.
I think that one of the main concerns of kind of the Red Pill as a general umbrella is that it kind of starts making guys bitter. It's a real, I get it. Learning how women function can be a little bit depressing sometimes if you let it get to you. If you don't use it as a tool to realize that this is a tool so that you can better manage women, attract, manage, have a great life, and not rely on them for your happiness, but flip that script on them.
Absolutely. And just like the red pill kind of becomes the black pill, which is kind of strange to me because, again, it's not something that I ever really delved into. It's kind of like I'm not good at advising guys on cheating because it's not something that was a big part of my life.
Right.
So
you
I
were either running a rotation,
or married.
Not pretending to be exclusive to one person, or you were exclusively married.
Right. And so, we try to stay in our lane.
Yeah.
We can give an opinion or an educated or an informed opinion about certain things, but we really do try to stay with our strengths.
Yeah. We have a lot of them.
And if you have any questions, you can go through YouTube and let us know. And Nuclear is here, the hardest working man on the internet. When he's not roasting girls or teaching people how to run game, And we appreciate you being here. He's over in Dallas. And we're glad you're here. And if you have any questions, be sure to let us know through YouTube. If you put it on Twitter, we won't be able to see it. But let's get started.
Let's get started. First up is your maxim.
Okay.
A girl will always make time for her in her faux busy schedule for a man she likes. And when she can't, she'll be the one to suggest another time. Yes.
So, and I went over this at length this morning. There's really, the number one question I get from guys, and almost on a daily basis, if I get a question, it's going to be, how many times should I ask this girl out? And it's very simple, once.
Yeah.
And you're going to get one of three answers. You're going to get yes, and she'll agree to the day and the time and all that. You'll get no, I have to meet my grandmother, or no, I got to go do this with my mother. No, I got to wash my hamster. Or you'll get no, but I would love to meet up on Thursday, or no, I could do next week. They'll give you a different time.
Yeah.
But guys are listening to no girls and then coming back and trying to, there's a difference. You have to calibrate, or you actually have to listen to what she's saying.
Yeah.
Now, why are women, because I think I was trying to convey this, they're not going to be direct no to you. Why is that?
Because we don't know how you're going to respond.
Exactly.
I think, I want to be real clear. We have answered this question hundreds of times. We've discussed this exact topic, even on this show, probably 10, maybe more times, double digits for sure. But it's because it keeps coming up. It keeps coming up in our consulting. It keeps coming up in our DMs. You name it. We answer this question a lot, but I am having a weird hair day. I apologize. It's distracting me.
You're doing great.
But the reason that that girls can't just say no is because we don't know how the person in front of us is going to react. And even if we do know the person and have a relationship with them, we still have a lot of trouble just saying no for the sake of no and not justifying it, at least in our own heads, because we don't want to upset them. We don't want it to be a source of contention. We don't want it to be an issue. But if you are talking to someone you don't know, someone that's a stranger on the street, someone who's doing day games, doing night game, any of these things, you are a complete unknown to us. And no matter how badass boss babe that we want to behave, we do not stand a chance. Even the strongest women don't stand a chance against even some of the physically weakest men out there. And that is terrifying. We can't go out at night. We can't go for a run. Not if we're smart, at least.
Can't walk alone.
We can't walk alone. Even in the daytime anymore, most women are not truly safe. We're not really protected. And that's a very scary situation to be in.
And that's what I was trying to convey, because guys, if you can think about why these things are happening, you can hear and you can react, more accurately. They can't just be, no, I'm not interested, because every girl has a story.
Yeah.
Of a guy who took it bad, be it when they were 13 or when they were 43.
Right.
It can be anywhere on both ends even. So their job is to, couch it or make it look like there's something
it's
possible.
Out of their control.
Yeah, exactly. But they will. I mean, this is important enough that Chateau gave it its own maxim, is that if she wants to go out, she will either say yes,
yeah,
or she will say no, but give you an alternative time.
Yeah.
Okay. So, because that's where you're going to hear, I can't, Thursday, but I can next week.
Right.
That's your opening. I'm sorry. If all they give you is, I got to meet my mom, then it means no. And that's okay.
Exactly. Well, and I want to kind of add to this a little bit, because there's a lot going on in this one maxim beyond that even. Her faux busy schedule. Girls will busy themselves right out of great relationships, great opportunities to do things, and will never think twice about it.
It happens.
Yeah. I mean, girls will fill their schedule full of book clubs and painting parties and hot yoga and spin and personal training and oh yeah, that job thing, you know, you name it. We will I have girlfriends who are just terrible about overfilling their calendar so that and I truly think it's as much that they cannot sit alone and just relax and have some time. And so therefore they fill that schedule full so that they never have to do that.
Yeah, you're not going to find girls that are sitting alone with their thoughts.
Yeah.
And they don't understand how we can, which is completely understandable. Different brains.
Yeah.
Completely different brains. But like she said, I mean, a girl will have goat yoga. She'll have book club, which is always a good one. She'll have her wall climbing. She'll have her yoga class. You know, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's always something.
Yeah.
But she will start canceling things if she, and again, remember, sometimes she doesn't even know to be attracted to you yet. This is a cold call sometimes.
Right.
You know, so she's busy with all these fake things that once she's attracted, this shit goes out the window. Bunny, I didn't know she even had kids or a life the first 2 years we were dating. I mean, literally, like, there was never any like, I can't because of this. I mean, yeah, we had trouble meeting up at first, but
that was your schedule.
I would have never known anything. She was always just like, yeah, okay, I can do that.
Yeah.
Or yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah.
You know, and again, if they don't have kids, they probably have a little bit more free time. But as soon as children come into the picture, be they little or still in school or with their mom, you have to be a little bit more flexible.
Right.
They just don't have that much time. And they usually have multiple children.
He did know I have kids. You're such a rotten.
I know that sounds horrible.
I didn't even mention having children. The best thing girls can do for their own happiness, and this goes along with kind of what we were talking about, is actively managing their expectations as they grow up.
And who put this up?
This is from Day Game Charisma.
Oh yeah. This is one of those that I wanted to run. You know, for guys, managing our expectations is something that starts pretty early. You know, I mean, like coaches will be like, you're not going to start. You know, you can get better, but you're not going to start on this team. You
right.
know, or you're on JV. And you know, you kind of get punched in the nose, and no one has any hesitation. It's completely understandable to tell guys they're not good enough. They didn't score high enough. They can't take this job. You know, just like we're looking at like getting one of my kids to become a firefighter.
Yeah.
There's certain minimum standards. So he has to hit these minimum standards. Most women, there's no minimum standards for anything. You know, they're pretty much born and they go, you can say, yeah, you can be a Disney princess if you like. You know, there's no expectations. But what Day Game Charisma says is women would be happier if they were to start having some, what would you say, calibration?
Right.
So why is this? As soon as I read that, I was like, I don't know if that's even possible.
Well, I think that's the tricky thing, is it almost takes being maybe an athlete as in like youth, adolescence, teen years, to where you don't, and I mean like an athlete, not like a participant, but where you don't always win the race. You don't always get to start. You do deal with some levels of rejection in some ways. Because I think that girls do have a lot more difficulty managing our expectations. It's 100. I mean, I 100% agree that girls would be happier if they could.
But it's not a realistic expectation.
It's like that. What Theodore Roosevelt or whatever. The comparison is the thief of joy. Girls love to spout this, but how many hours a day do most women of all ages spend on social media? And that's essentially what they're doing the entire time, is comparing the vacation that Marcy's taking, the house that blah 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 just got bought for, you know, the new car that so and so just got, the accomplishments of the children. Those are huge. You know, what isn't being said on social media that you know is going on behind the scenes. There's all kinds of stuff, and that's essentially what it is it's a problem with women managing our
Good
expectations.
point. That's good. And dating charisma, that's the only reason I kind of brought this up. He and I are very similar
Yeah.
in the stuff that we put out. And this isn't like to be a hit or criticism.
Uh-uh.
I just thought I wanted to hear a girl's mindset of this, because this is very much a guy thing.
Yeah.
Manage your expectations. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. But even imagining like saying that to a girl or your daughter, it doesn't seem accurate. You know what I mean? It's a difficult thing to do.
And I do think that's where you actually have to be talking under a guise or under circumstances that are more masculine.
Yeah.
Like high level sports.
Right.
Right. Someone who's been dealt with rejection, kind of being challenged to make a certain grade on a team, a certain placement. All kinds of stuff like that really help manage a girl's expectations, but most of us do not ever have to deal with that.
Nope.
Because we are, Disney princesses in our own heads.
Exactly.
And then we're either happy because we're getting validated, or we're throwing a fit, kicking and screaming on the ground.
That's it. That sums it up. I mean, yeah.
So it is interesting, because I think in this case it takes a little bit of that masculine kind of
Mindset.
Yeah.
You have to frame it in a masculine way.
Yeah. And that has to happen early too. I mean, I think that kind of thing starts at home.
Yeah, for sure. And
Yeah.
if they don't have it by the time they're 27 and they meet you,
They're not gonna.
it ain't going to happen.
It's
Yeah.
not
You
gonna.
tell them to tab back. That's where you go, hey, you might have to, manage your expectations and settle. And they're like stabbing you in the
I'm never
chest.
settling.
Yeah. That's why when they're in their 40s and 50s, you hear them, I'm not going to settle. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good
luck with that,
Yeah,
lady.
we stay out of it,
Yeah.
It's safer.
Man, that's a good one. That's a really good one. But I don't feel like I have a good answer for it. I feel
That's
like
okay. I just really wanted to run it by.
I feel like it truly takes some pretty specific circumstances
Yeah.
at pretty formative years
Yeah.
to be able to make that happen.
And guys see it all the time. I mean, you can see it and you're
Yeah.
like, she's really overshooting her abilities.
Yeah.
And that's
She's
why,
holding out for a management position.
and they're very unhappy.
She's like Cousin Eddie
They're very
in
unhappy.
real life. All right. This was mine. True alcoholics are either currently drinking or thinking about when they are going to be able to start drinking next. So my question was, are alcoholics their truest selves when they are actively drinking or when they are sober?
And I was just following this. I wanted to get this up today because we were talking this morning about don't show up to dates drunk.
Right.
It's just bad form. And be aware that women are always looking, especially on your first date or second date, they're looking for signs of alcoholism because they've all dealt with an alcoholic in some capacity, either their father, their grandfather, their brother, their uncle, boyfriend, ex-husband. It doesn't matter. They've all,
Right.
because there's just so many. And so that's where I brought this up. You have to ask yourself, and especially for women that are like dating, like one guy said, yeah, you know what women do with alcoholics? They marry them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
They love the ups and downs and the drama, So it happens. It does, but it's not a good place for you to be mentally. So the question is, are they their true self when they're sober or when they're drunk?
Well, the question as far as what you were asking is, or, I do think there's a little something to be said for taking the edge off, like going into a date, like
Yeah,
what you were talking
I did cover
about.
that. Yeah.
I think that the problem is guys especially have a real problem in that early stage of dating, just having just enough.
Alcohol is sex fuel.
Yeah.
You have to manage your intake and you have to manage hers.
Yeah.
Because if she gets too drunk, you no longer have a sex partner, you have a girl you're picking up in the street.
Yeah.
And if you're too drunk, nothing good happens. Nothing works.
No.
So you have to go in with a plan
Yeah.
and stay aware. And it happens. I mean, people get on a roll they're having a good time, and then it just goes south.
Right.
So you have to actually think about this before you go into it. And I always tell guys, don't pregame, and keep an eye on her, because she probably did.
She probably pre-game,
Yeah.
and she's doing it on an empty stomach. This
Yeah.
is a huge factor
Yeah.
that I don't think enough guys understand.
No, they don't even think about it.
We haven't eaten in like a day, maybe even a day and a half before like a first date or a date that we're really excited about, because first of all, we're just not thinking about it. Second of all, we want to look good in our clothes. Third of all, we want to look good out of our clothes. So it's a big deal. It's a major factor.
And it's a very real thing. Girls are like lightheaded by the time they actually get there.
Yeah.
Because for a girl to eating, it just makes her feel bloated,
Yeah.
heavy, just like we say, you don't go to dinner on dates, because nobody likes to bang on a full stomach.
It's true.
You can go out for a couple drinks, then you can go back and you feel good.
Yeah.
You feel just right. You're trying to find that sweet spot.
And they feel slim and sexy and tight. And all the good things. All the good things.
So that's the deal with alcohol. It has to be, you got to have a plan, just like everything else on a good date, and managed.
And I say, go out with the guys if you want to get hammered. I mean, have a great time. I'm not suggesting,
Always.
even in this tweet, I'm not suggesting that you never just fucking let loose and let your problems go. But whenever you're going out, particularly on a series of the first dates, you need to be in complete control of your own mindset. But you also need to, don't be one of those weirdos who's like, oh, you go ahead and drink. I'm not going to drink tonight.
No, that won't work.
That's not sexy either.
No.
Then she's self-conscious about every drink
She won't
she's
do it.
taking. None of it is. You seem
It
bored.
kills the vibe.
It totally kills the vibe.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's like splitting the check. Yeah.
Very similar. Yeah, it's
it
got the
just
similar ick factor.
Kills it immediately, and you're like, what happened?
Yeah, I wonder. All right, you handsome devil. I have not watched this video, so you said
I haven't either.
Oh,
But
good.
the comments, everything that's been said about it has been pretty accurate and brutal.
That's pretty funny. Okay.
I'm not really into nice guys because I like boys, so I can't really think of anything nice that they can do.
My lucky day. Hell yeah. I'm just joking. All right. And what's the worst thing a guy can do?
I guess be nice.
Be nice.
Because sometimes if you're too nice, it gives it's like the ick,
Really?
Because it's like, why are you so nice?
Do you like when guys like degrade you type shit? Is that what you like?
Not degrade me, but
Yeah.
because I feel like if a guy is nice, that means he gets no girls, and that's like a turn off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
But then I'm on social media like, I want a guy that gets no bitches, but that's just not true. So
Okay. What's the hottest thing a guy can do?
I'm not really into nice guys because I like boys, so I can't.
There you go.
Yeah. The bottom line is all women want men that other women desire.
Exactly. Boy, will they deny this. Especially I have points like what women are looking for. And the second to the last is evidence that you're banging other women. And boy, do they get on there and object to that. They're like, oh, I'm not interested. Yes, you are.
Yes, you are.
But it's not.
Even
good.
she just said, I'll deny. I'll put that out on social media, but and deny this. But
Yeah, it's a touchy subject with
Yeah.
women. Yeah, but they want evidence because women don't trust their own judgment. They want to see evidence that other women have approved of you, and when you do come pre-approved, things go faster.
yeah,
That's one thing I was telling guys. What happens once you kind of start getting, for lack of a better phrase, passed around, or you get known for doing this stuff.
yeah,
You get shit tested a little bit less, and sex happens faster. Because if you're banging her girlfriend, they know who you are and what you're about.
Well, and I think this is one of those questions that you have run into a lot with your tech support clients too. It helps that you always have a consult
Right,
at the front end of stuff, but then you've managed a lot of through that text support
TXT.
Where they've had exactly this kind of thing going, where
Exactly.
it's like, how nice should I be? How much evidence should I show that
Exactly.
I'm dating other girls? What are the best ways? And they're having amazing
Yeah.
outcomes
Yeah.
through that.
I mean, through unlimited tech support, basically, I'm your wingman. We respond rapidly to questions. And a lot of it's like, how do I respond to this? Because
Yeah.
most guys will have some idea of how they should, but they just want to make sure they're going in the right direction.
Right,
But
right.
you do have to have an advanced idea of like, things will move quickly.
Yeah.
You know, when you start to build kind of a reputation, or depending on the person that you're in front of and how you met them, their relationship to you is how fast things are going to move.
Yeah.
You know, usually guys that like use my system will sleep with a girl the first or second day. I've never had anybody have to go to a third date.
No.
So a lot of it, and it all comes together. It's all pre-selection and a number of things that you can do beforehand.
Yeah.
So you kind of like set them up for a home run.
But just like the alcohol, it's about having a plan.
Yeah, you
It's
got to
a
know what you're
big-
doing.
It's
Yeah.
a big deal.
And that's where tech support comes in. I'm thinking for you. So, I mean, a lot of times,
It's
to
true.
the best of my ability.
That's a good way to say it.
Yeah. And that's part of our VIP Unlimited program that we're running the next 2 days.
Yeah.
It all comes together.
I love it. All right, date game charisma again. Most girls who are real skinny in their late teens and early 20s look quite good after 25 with developed curves. Most girls who had curves and a nice ass and hips in their late teens and early 20s look fat after 25. We see this a lot. Just something I've noticed. We definitely see that a lot in personal training. You can tell the girls who had developed a little too early, just naturally, you know, there are a lot of factors that I could get on a whole soapbox about like nutrition and how they're raised and things like that, the exercise that their parents ensured that they got. But that's a whole other, that's more like a personal training soapbox than a dating and relationship. But we definitely see a lot of that in our neck of the woods.
Well, there's 3 things. One, younger guys, and I've noticed this, and it wasn't my imagination. You know, as you get older, you're a little bit more forgiving with girls. There's more margin of error.
Yeah.
Your eye, because at a certain point, you're not sure if the girl's actually attractive or she's just young. Yeah, there's like a breakover point. I've heard
Right.
other guys say after a certain age, I can't tell if she's actually physically attractive or she's just young. But as somebody pointed out, youth is attractive in itself.
Yeah,
You know.
it's a big deal.
2 is they've done some studies, and God, I'm going to dig this up one day so I can present it, that the younger guys, let's say under 25, were harder at judging women's weight. They preferred a slimmer silhouette
Yeah,
than guys over 25. And the theory is that knowing instinctively that she will gain a little bit of weight
Right.
with each child, guys that are hardwired to look for a slimmer silhouette. It's just hardwired.
yeah, it
Because
makes
that's-
perfect sense.
That's the real deal. So it's not your imagination. That's probably where this is coming from.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
that girls will. And again, any girl that hits puberty early, they usually they're going to be heavier. So they were kind of like at maximum density, like as a senior and then their first year in college.
right.
You know, any good genetics can still be ruined. You know, but you know, girls that are underweight almost
Yeah,
as going into college usually fare a little bit better if they maintain some habits.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Very, very true.
A lot of this is men are looking for a leaner mom for their kids.
That's fair. That makes a lot of sense. All right, you handsome devil. Next, we get to look at you. I'm pretty excited about it.
What am I talking about? What was this subject? A good environment to learn how to talk. Anything where you're around. I mean, again, God, I hate to always just hammer this, but if you can get a job as a bartender, that works because you have extended conversations in a relaxed atmosphere. You're not relaxed, you're working, of course, but it gives you a chance to interact with people over time. It's not like one and done because, you know, you could be a concierge at a hotel, but it's very brief conversation. So as a bartender, you kind of have to entertain them over time and you're rewarded for that because you're going to make better tips the better they like you. So there's all kinds of benefits, for people.
So the question of the day, the best environment to learn how to talk to girls. And we've said all along that if you want to meet the most girls in the least amount of time and actually get paid for it, be a bartender. Period. There's just no downside to that if that is your goal.
But and that's why I put that in our stack here. What other professions would give you that type of access?
Yeah.
And we always say, I mean, like we're personal trainers. We talk to people all day, and introverts don't do well in our business. You have to be extra. You're forced to interact. And if you're not good at it when you start, you get good at it to maintain your client load,
Yeah.
So what else would be a good job? Because that's why I brought it up, because I went off with bartender, which I think is number one.
Yeah.
But there's got to be alternatives because not every guy enjoys the nightlife,
Right. I'd say, all that's coming to mind is the things to avoid. Like avoid the businesses that you're dealing with. You might be dealing with women, but they're the married stay-at-home moms who have no time for you to be flirting with them, and they're not available anyway. So like HVAC, plumbing, termite control,
construction.
But I mean, I would think, and I'm just going to kind of list a couple of different pay grades here. It's a long-term game. It's a long game, but being a doctor, being a firefighter, being any of the professions where you are someone's hero, that hero worship thing goes a long way. I can't tell you over the years how many of my children's doctors that I've been like, oh, he's kind of cute. Because there's something endearing.
Oh, yeah, the role.
About just having nothing to do with actually anyone who's actually presented in front of you, but watching a man care for your child, and this is true even
I'm sure this is hardwired.
even if you're not a mom or whatever, but any job where you are looked at as being the hero of the story is always going to have the potential to get more pussy than fucking the help.
The situational alpha is how I present that.
Yeah.
Because most physicians, due to their nature and their intellect and 8 to 12 years of extra school, tend to be a little bit nerdy, but you put them in the situation.
Right.
You put them in the frame and they just kind of like come out of their shell.
Yeah.
So that's, you have to look at that. Firefighting gives you, good pay, a good reputation, safe.
You have to be physically fit.
Yeah, you're dangerous but safe.
Yeah.
Girls love that combination. And you have enough free time to pursue other things.
Yeah.
So we're talking about things that help you along the way. It's kind of like being good looking. It opens the door. It won't keep the door open.
Right.
But it makes it easier for you to walk in.
Yeah.
But then you have to actually develop your skills to stay in the room.
I would say hospitality stuff is great, but I think that like restaurant management, wait staff, like any of those kinds of things that aren't necessarily bartender, aside from bartender, are good, but there's a really strong caveat there in that you're going to mainly fuck amongst yourselves and just be, what's that term? Eskimo brothers with like everyone else in the, like, that's so funny. You're just
swapping
sharing.
people.
You're just sharing.
But the talent will come and go.
But I think that if you just have the goal of just fucking your way through the city, working that kind of environment, because you may get flirtation with, tables that you wait on and things like that. But I think a lot less long-term kind of.
Exactly. Yeah, it is.
A lot of times maybe they're with their parents, the cute girls are with their parents, or they're embarrassed to flirt too much in front of their girlfriends or whatnot.
Yeah, they're not going to give away too much.
Yeah.
But that's a good point. I mean, restaurant waiting tables is definitely good because, again, even if it's just staff, but you're going to get really good at talking to people.
Yeah.
You're rewarded for having a better personality.
Yeah.
And you start learning kind of like the tricks of the trade.
And I will say, as far as like being a wait staff or being even the management position level in a restaurant, men, you guys can get away with, you might not have showered that morning. You may be working your ass off. You may be sweating like a pig and feel disgusting, but you still look phenomenal. Women, they have to pull their hair back. They have to wear caps and stuff. They look like hell. Their face is melting off. Like, so
It's true.
we, female wait staff, short of the most high-end places, look like absolute dog shit at the
That's
end
very
of
funny. That's an interesting
at the end
observation.
of a shift.
Yeah.
And so you guys can fare a lot better.
Men may look 1 point different between waking up in the morning and in a tuxedo.
Yeah.
Whereas women, there's a 2 to 3 point
Oh
swing
my,
sometimes.
easily.
Yeah. Depending on-
So, yeah.
it's pretty funny.
What other?
I thought that's great. I mean, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Because you do have to, kind of like balance, guys, I've even had guys say like Uber driving, but I don't see how that would be a good. I think he's either like really good
Yeah.
at picking up women, but it
They're
would be a
essentially
good
doing
place.
day game
Yeah.
in
yeah.
a car.
Yeah. I think it would be very challenging if you don't have any skills
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
And you could jeopardize your job. You
Yeah.
gotta, you want to be good and be able to calibrate if you're going to do this in a work environment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It gets a little tricky, but I mean, I think the key is to be in an environment where the girls that you would like to pursue are. So that's where, working at a country club, being a golf pro, being working in the club itself,
Golf pros.
go a long way. Tennis pro, things like that.
Huge.
That be where the women that you want to attract are, where they hang out. Personal training. I mean, we have rules about not fucking our clients, and I think most do to some extent or another. But you can still kind of be in that environment and mix and mingle and be with
You
others.
get good at talking to people.
Yeah,
Everyone.
it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And then they invite you. I would say one thing about personal training is, even if you're not fucking your clients, they invite you to their parties. They invite you to outings. You tend to socialize with them as well. And that's where your social circle can expand and grow. And then you can kind of pick and choose from those people too.
It works.
Yeah.
All of it works. And the gym's a very friendly environment.
Yeah.
You have to be personable
Yeah.
to do well. And, people want to come into some place like Cheers where everyone knows your name,
Right.
and it's a big deal.
Right.
Everybody gets a hi when they come in and everybody gets a bye when they leave. That's the rules,
Yeah. Yeah.
People want to be greeted. And they want to know that, you address their presence. So that's the real deal. I think those are some great expectations. And the waiting at tables is a great idea.
Yeah.
It's
Guys just look better waiting tables
Yeah.
than girls do, unfortunately. All right. I don't know what this is. It's from Jubilee Gym. Can you spit in my coffee? Barista. I think it's just a gift.
You did not just ask me that
No, I'm just
question.
saying, you're like,
What a forward
whoa.
young man you are.
It's not part of the
My goodness. You did not just ask me that
No, I'm just
question.
saying, you're like,
What a forward
whoa.
young
I-
man you are.
You keep
My
talking at the same
goodness.
time.
You did not just ask me
no,
that
I'm just
question.
saying, you're like,
What a forward
whoa.
young man you are.
What a forward young
My
man you are. And yet she's twirling the hair and she's playing with her wrist and she's so
That's funny.
blissfully embarrassed.
Who is that?
Annette Hathaway and
Oh,
Hathaway.
yeah.
Anne Hathaway.
Maybe I don't know how that ended up there, but that's good. That's good to notice that girls will object to your behavior while they're laughing and giggling.
Uh-huh.
That's pretty funny.
Uh-huh. She's like, she is into it. Definitely. This one cracked me up. I don't lift because I get too big too fast and my wife hates it. Boyd Myers, that is so funny.
I know. And I included this.
Oh my
And
God.
talking about James, on my YouTube channel, look up
Oh,
Fort Worth
hold on.
Playboy, James Tolan.
Okay.
How do you get a girl in the gym? One of the very first videos we did
Yeah.
was how to pick up women in the gym.
Yeah.
And that explains everything, you know,
Yeah.
and you do need to watch it so you don't burn yourself out of your gym. You know?
Exactly.
So do watch it. Look up Fort Worth Playboy Gym Game, and it's like 15 minutes. It's Bunny
Maybe.
and I.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of the very first because it's such a popular question.
It is. We get that question a
Yeah.
lot.
And I find it interesting is our answer is pretty much the answer I see every time if anybody asks like fitness professionals, how do you do this? You know,
Yeah.
they don't ever say don't do it. They say this is how it's got to be done.
Yeah. Check
You know.
out that podcast about Gym Game. We went into great detail and gave you a great answer.
And I guess I included this because this is a good example. There's a class divide
Yeah.
in exercise, and there's some studies, and I've put these up before, and AJ addresses this. Like
Yeah.
wealthier, higher, upper middle class tend to go towards endurance sports,
Yeah.
triathlon, marathons, anything that is cycling.
Side.
Road cycling is a big one.
Yeah.
Anything that is expensive and time consuming.
Yeah.
Whereas lower middle class and lower classes tend to go towards the strength sports. BJJ or you know any of the MMA,
Yeah.
any of the combat sports tend to depend on the neighborhood that they're put into.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you can have white collar boxing or you can have Golden Gloves. You know, it just depends on what neighborhood they end up in and who they attract.
Right.
It's really, you know, it's a crapshoot. But generally, like strength and bodybuilding tend to move towards working class.
Right.
You know, or the trades, I should say.
Sure.
Too. And then upper middle class, it's kind of frowned upon. Not as much as it used to be, but you're not going to see any guys that are like fully blown in the boardroom.
Well, there's going to be like one in every city and
Yeah.
every major metropolitan
Yeah.
area that's a big buff guy
Yeah.
that actually runs in high social circles.
Exactly.
But there aren't many.
No.
Now most of them exercise to some degree or another.
Yeah.
Make no mistake.
Yeah. But as far as like being blown,
Yeah.
no, you won't see that. You do see what I see the happy medium. Guys get blown, but they'll like own like an HVAC or own a plumbing company. So they got $100,000 truck,
Yeah.
you know, and they look great, and they obviously are weightlifters, but you know they kind of move between both worlds because they have to talk to the owners of the commercial businesses,
Exactly.
and they have to run their crews too at the same time. So they're in the middle.
And oftentimes those kind of middle guy, like level guys, they tend to truly not be able. It would be frowned upon for them to run in as high a socioeconomic echelon as they could afford to.
Oh yeah,
Because
yeah, they'll play it
then
down.
they'll be like, oh, well, your prices are too high, or you drive too nice a vehicle, or all that kind of stuff. You know, we all are playing this game all the time where we're balancing kind of
Appearance.
how much we can show.
Yeah. And I always thought this was kind of like bullshit, but literally like at least once a week on Twitter, on construction Twitter or real estate Twitter, they'll say, you know, this is what I do. What should I be driving?
Right.
You know,
Right. Well, and
It's-
we've talked before about, you know, the breadwinner will drive like a little Toyota Camry, but the wife will be in the Range Rover or the Mercedes.
100% of the time.
You know, yeah,
That's true.
absolutely.
Yeah, there's no reason to put the wife and kids in a pile of shit
Yeah.
if you can help it.
Speaking of handsome, muscly men, oh my goodness, I can't believe
There he is.
I can't believe you would even put this in here. You know I'm going to get all excited. What is this? We're not supposed to have wheels on our suitcases. Let's see. What are you saying, Stallone?
They don't even allow these today. They don't even allow these today because they're so dangerous. But that's what they used when I did the film. They're barely 6 ounces. They're Reyes, and they're literally lethal. So I still have them because it's a time when people were tougher. Sorry, they were. Life is just getting a little easier and easier and easier. And oh, that's great. It's wonderful, but it's not. I think when we force ourselves into tough situations, that's what the human creature is supposed to do. They're not supposed to have wheels on their suitcases. They're not supposed to have lawnmowers with engines that pull them along. It's a convenience, no question, but it just makes things easier. Now with AI, you can literally put your brain in a pickle jar and have that machine do it. So I cherish these moments. I cherish hard work, even though I hate it. I know it's like strong medicine. Tastes horrible going down, but it makes you feel better.
That is fantastic.
That is fantastic. He's a wise man. Let's just all take.
I haven't been able to watch a show like the one where he has his kids on.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. I don't know. I have an affection for Rocky Balboa, not necessarily Sylvester
That's interesting.
Stallone.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's good.
But talk about a strong man and a buff man who is also can go in those upper echelon circles and be comfortable.
And it's saying something because almost every guy that ends up, no matter where his background is, ends up in Southern California and wealthy, gets soft.
I was going to say he's probably talking directly to Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yes.
Yes. He is. I know they're buds, but he is definitely softened.
Yeah.
He probably has wheels on his suitcase, and I adore him. But no, that was a good
he's
video.
tough.
Gosh. All right. I can cure all relationships in one tweet. Never stop dating. You're going to put effort into a relationship in some way, shape, or form. It might as well be the one you're in. If you like her, if you love her, if you have kids with her, if you promised in front of your family and God that you were going to be with her forever in sickness and in health, then never stop dating. Because if you break up, not only is it going to be very expensive, but you're going to have to put that effort into the next relationship.
You're going to work somewhere.
Yeah, it's a good way to say it. 2, stay trim and healthy. This is as much for the aesthetics as for just the healthy aging. I mean, if you want to be able to get up and down off the ground, if you want to be able to go up a flight of stairs, if you want to be able to have the hot sex that you want to be able to have, then you have to be healthy. You have to maintain a level of health, fitness, and just trim body.
Conditioning.
Conditioning. Number 3, don't put your kids or parents ahead of your relationship ever, ever, ever. We have chosen our partner to be our partner. We're supposed to, even the Bible says you're supposed to leave your parents' household. When you marry, you are supposed to leave your parents' household and you're coming together with your wife or with your husband. Those children are a product of that relationship. They don't come ahead of that relationship, but a lot of people fail. A lot of marriages and families fall apart because the parents forget that they chose each other first and the children came next. Now, fire, broken bones, fever. I mean, there are circumstances where in emergencies, that kid clearly has to come first. I'm not talking about neglecting your children. I'm talking about not allowing your children's activities, not allowing your children's behaviors, making sure that you are raising them to respect the fact that you two are a couple first and that you two are on the same team and not pit you against one another. So there's a whole, and I've done emails on this. I talk about this a lot. This is a passion project of mine. I want you guys, if you choose to be in a relationship, I want it to be the best one it can possibly be. Now, that's not to say that every relationship that you get in is with a girl that you could theoretically live a full life with. Not everybody's going to be a perfect fit, but there's also not just one soulmate. There are many people that you could have a beautiful life with. And these tips right here will just kind of help you succeed in that. Encourage one another. Number 4, encourage one another. You do not have to be a dancing monkey. You do not have to, kowtow to her whims and wishes, but encouraging her and her encouraging you goes a long way in. What do you look at?
No, this is good. No, you're cranking.
Yeah. It goes a long way in understanding that you are on the same side. You know, it's people start to have problems in couples whenever they feel like everything that they're saying is something that's laughable, when they feel like they can't bring an idea to their partner because it, you know, will be poo-pooed on. Just when they feel like they're not going to be encouraged in using their strengths for the good of not only the relationship, but, you know, maybe their financial security, you know, a child decision, something along those lines. Number 5, don't take your phones to bed. And every time I post this, people launch into me about, I relax better with my phone in bed. No, that's the habit that you have created around bedtime. But actually, you do not, listen, if you want to argue about this, just read Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker or Outlive by Peter Attia, and please get the fuck off. Like, you need restful sleep. And if you take your phone to bed, not only is it harder to have sexy time with your person, and both of you are distracted and in completely different worlds from one another because you're both in your own phone, you're in your own, you know, head and kind of escaping. But it's also, it means that you don't rest as well, you don't have as good a quality sleep, and therefore the next day you're not bringing your best to the person in front of you.
Or anywhere.
Or anyone else. And you'll argue that till you're blue in the face. But it's if you want to argue that, it's truly that you've just created a negative habit and now you're justifying it. And 6, never stop fucking. If you stop having sex with your partner, and I'm not saying, the caveat here is I'm not talking about people who have physical impairments or disabilities or limitations to where they cannot have a physically intimate relationship. Okay. I'm not talking about those people. And so don't be a dick. But if you stop fucking, that is the one thing that this relationship, it makes this relationship different from any other relationship you could possibly have in your life. So if you're not fucking your wife, you don't have a wife, you have a roommate. And oftentimes that's a very hostile roommate and a very hostile living environment. So it's very, this is a key list, and one that if more people followed, they wouldn't need my course like how to reignite your wife. They wouldn't need to know how to kind of save your marriage from divorce, because the pieces are already in place. Do you have anything to add?
It's rocking. No.
Okay.
Great. We probably should wrap it up. And James, he has a good question here, and I'm going to put this. How should I fill my time this summer instead of video games? Because I've seen this question come up already, like last week. How should I fill my time this summer instead of video games? I lift and work, so I'm looking for something in my free time that won't drain my energy. And I'll put this up. She's got 20,000. I have 80,000. That'll give us 100,000 people that can look at this and give you a suggestion.
Well, I mean, we can give suggestions as well.
Yeah, but I wanted to make sure that you knew that I would actually present that.
Oh, gotcha.
And say, because, the first thing I always say is, lift or, pursue, buy a dirt bike. But I don't know you or what you're interested in, or perhaps your mother does not want you on,
I lift and I
vehicles.
work. I would say go where the people are. The thing about, and I'm not talking about a sports bar where you're just sitting up at a bar and watching a game amongst other people. I mean, do social things, but social things that you genuinely enjoy, because I don't want it to drain you physically, and I want it to kind of recharge your batteries, but also give you an opportunity to be among the people that encourage you, that maybe motivates you, that maybe they're one step higher possibly on the socioeconomic scale if you're really trying to build a business or trying to build your income. Girls, where girls are that, are of the type that you really enjoy, but in social settings where there are lots of people and lots of people to talk to interact with, to do things with, maybe instead, since you're already lifting, maybe doing something like climbing or
Application. Applying your exercise and fitness.
Yeah, exactly. What we always say is the more you do in the gym, the more you are able to and want to do outside of the gym. So you're physically active. Go join a running group. Go, join a fitness or activity kind of group. Maybe do kind of a CrossFit kind of thing a few days a week. Something where there are both men and women. It's very social. It's very encouraging, and it's really motivating and energizing.
Not knowing how old you are, what your interests are.
Yeah, or where you are.
There's never any downside to learning a fine art.
Yeah.
Or a musical instrument, especially, as guys get older, them being able to play a musical instrument or do fine art and actually, being able to do it gives them something, like you said, that they can preserve their energy, use their brain, they're creative. And
I think I misunderstood the question. Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
no. I thought it was on point.
No, I agree completely.
Yeah.
And knowing how to play an instrument, doing puzzles, doing crosswords, things of that nature, instead of being in front of a screen,
Huge.
Preserves your brain as well. And just continues to build and improve it. So you'll actually age better. You'll have more cognitive ability. There's no downside to, like you just said, learning an instrument, learning a fine art, improving your skills if you already don't have them or already have them, learning a language that you would like to learn. There are all kinds of things that your time could be better spent, James, instead of doing video games.
But we'll put it out there because it's a very
good question.
And it's a good time for the question because a lot of guys are wondering the same thing.
I love it. All right. Well, you only had one other.
Oh, I did? Okay,
yeah.
cool.
So why don't we just check it out? Let's see. It was from Gary PUA. Women are much more forgiving of men who go too far than those who don't go far enough.
Girls will be more forgiving of you pursuing your masculine desires than if you hold back. You've got to go for a kiss because you've got to physically escalate on that first date in some manner. If you don't, you're probably not going to get a second date.
Yeah, you're just going to be automatically thought of as a friend.
Yeah, she, like Chateau would say, she'll forgive you for trying to get into her panties, but she won't forgive you for not trying.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
It's very
and they may actually, act, what would you say?
Offended.
Offended
Hathaway.
while they start laughing.
Yeah.
Exactly. So be more aggressive than passive.
Yeah.
Don't be crazy or don't be stupid about it.
Yeah. We're not talking about raping.
Yeah. But she will give you another chance. She'll be open to suggestion, even if that first time she's not down with it. And that's okay because certain girls have some rules.
Yeah.
And
the bottom line is that way there's no confusion as to what you are going for. So that way, whenever if you ask her for a second date and she accepts, she knows that it goes.
Yeah,
further.
exactly. There's none of this, I thought we were friends. No,
you didn't.
You need to be very upfront with your expectations. You got enough friends.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good one.
That is a good one. Good job, baby.
Good job.
Good job. Close.
And we're glad that you guys have stuck here. We appreciate you guys, your questions.
Yeah, good questions.
We really enjoy answering them. This is always more fun with 2 people and 3 or 4 or 5 or 262 viewers. That's great. And we hope you've gotten some value out of this. If you're interested in more of this, Fort Worth Playboy at Gumroad.com or
myplayboysbunny.gumroad.com. That's where our products are.
And we'll put a link in below this video. We hope you guys have a great day.
a great day. Bye.